Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Foundation 101 video. It's just a video all about foundation. I've had a lot of girls ask me on Facebook all the kind of basics there is to know about foundation, like what foundation should I use, what foundation is good, and some of the girls when I say like, you know, what coverage are you looking for, they don't know what coverage is. So this is just going to be a rundown on the basics to know about foundation. First of all, I just want to say a massive shout out to my girl Holly Fraser, who just got 1,001 followers on Instagram, and she's been trying for ages and so long to get them, so shout out to her. People, everyone should go follow her. This is how it is spelled, and she's really cute and blonde, and you should definitely go and follow her. So with this video, I have put in the description bar the times of each of my points, so if you don't want to hear me babble on about one point, just simply skip to the part that you do want, and at the end of this video there will be a quick tutorial on how I've done my flawless foundation routine. So let's get started. Foundation is a coloured liquid, powder or cream that is used to cover up flaws, creates an even skin tone, and also just adds a bit of colour to make you look healthier. So believe it or not, in 200 BC, Greek women applied white chalk to their face to create a pale complexion, as it was considered fashionable back in that era. Which is really crazy because pale face is not what we go for nowadays. But even crazier was throughout the 17th century, they applied egg white to their face to give them a shiny complexion. Completely opposite from what we do today, but it just shows how far makeup has come. So there is 4 different types of coverage. There is sheer, light, medium and full. Sheer is the most transparent, which means that you can kind of see through it. So sheer foundation has the least amount of pigmentation, which means that it won't cover up any harsh discoloration, although saying that it will add a bit of colour to your face to even out any uneven skin tones. A light foundation can cover small discoloration like blotchiness or redness, but it won't fully cover it. Also, it won't cover freckles either. Medium foundation would probably be one of the popular ones because it is between a light and a full coverage, which means it's not going to be as heavy as a full coverage, but it's going to be more coverage than a light. Medium can cover freckles if you set it with a tinted powder. Although medium will cover a little bit more than light, it doesn't mean that it's going to be cakey at all. It will just be a little bit more coverage and still looking quite natural. Lastly, full coverage. So full coverage is basically a foundation that will cover everything. I'm using a full coverage foundation. I like to cover everything, from pimples to blotchiness to freckles to everything there is. In special effects makeup, they use it to camouflage. That's what they call full coverage makeup, and basically you can cover tattoos, birthmarks. So you can use your fingers to create a natural look. You can use a sponge to make a sheer to medium look. If you use a brush, you would be only using liquid on it. And the best brushes to use are synthetic brushes, as natural brushes suck in the product, which means you're not going to get as much product as you could be getting, whereas a synthetic brush will not hold it, it will just sit on the brush and you'll be able to get the most out of the product. So when looking for brushes, you want to look for something that has a densely packed bristle, which means this brush here is the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80. Now this is short bristles and these are densely packed, which means that there's a lot of them and they're close together. Whereas this brush here is a same kind of brush, it's a stippling brush. The bristles aren't as together, which means this one will give me more of a streaky effect, whereas this one will buff it out and make it a little bit more airbrushed. Which leads me to my next and last. Airbrushing is usually used for special effects makeup. It can give you a sheer to a medium look, but you can build it up to full. To apply airbrush foundation, you will need an airbrush machine. First is oil-free matte looking foundation. This is a foundation used for oily skin. This is not very good for dry skin as it has no oil in it, so it will not be moisturising at all, thus being good for oily skin because it has no oil, so it's not going to make you even worse. You will need to use a primer as it's a matte finish, which means you don't want it to settle into your pores. If you have extremely oily skin, make sure you try a long-wearing oil-free foundation. Next is a moisturising liquid foundation. So this one is for dry skin. It is a little bit thicker in consistency, and this is because it has a built-in moisturiser as well as a foundation. A pressed powder. Now this will give you a medium to full coverage. This is for people with combination skin, which means you're a little bit oily or you could be a little bit dry. So really these things are good for when you're going out, you've already got your foundation on but you need to touch up. If you're feeling a little bit oily, you can just press the powder in the oily spots and it will dry it up and make you look a little bit more matte again. Next is a cream to powder foundation. Now this one is for the dry skin. I wouldn't recommend it for oily. So a good cream to powder foundation should go on as a cream but should dry as a slight powder finish but be matte as well. This can give you sheer to full coverage depending on how much you apply. And the great thing about these ones is the same thing, you can take them with you and you can apply it wherever you are. Stick foundations. Now these are very similar. These are a cream to powder finish. They are very thick in consistency, so I really wouldn't recommend them as much. If you have oily skin, I definitely would stay away from these. They are very greasy and they can tend to crease a lot. Stick foundations are good because they are portable, but just got to watch out because they will crease. They are greasy. They're very thick. So a sheer or tinted moisturizer, also known as a BB cream. So this is just a sheer coverage foundation. And this is just a coloured liquid that's like a tinted moisturiser that you just chuck on your face that literally will just add a bit of colour to your face, and that's about all. These are good if you're just going to the shops and you don't want to do a full face of makeup but you just want to add a bit of colour because your face might be a little bit pale. They're very moisturising and they usually have sunscreen in them. These are good for younger girls as well who want to have a bit of colour on their face for school but they don't want to have a full cake face of makeup. This is perfect for that. Lastly is mineral makeup. Now this is talked up a lot, but it honestly is no better than any other foundations. It can come in loose or pressed powder, and it can give you to a medium coverage. I do find that because they are talked up as much, they are a little bit more expensive to buy. So honestly, if you're going to go for a powder, just go for a loose powder to go over your face. Don't go out of your way to go get a mineral makeup. So I hope this video helped you out a little bit. This is just a little bit more information on foundation. I hope I did cover as much of it as I could. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. And also, I have my video now of me doing this look, not the eyes, just the foundation, just my base. So it's a really simple look. This is a full coverage makeup, by the way. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Amount of pigmentation, which means to apply foundation. No. Airbrushing is a wow, was that so hard?